Like I've said before, I've gained a new appreciation for Super Mario World ROM hacks as an offshoot of my new appreciation for Super Mario World in general. Today I have a ROM hack called Apple Boy 2 Homeland Hero, the sequel to a Super Mario World ROM hack I played way back during last year's marathon. You guys might be thinking, damn, how come I haven't seen this before? Well, that's the thing. The game has not officially released yet, and what I'm playing is a pre-release version of the game that Apple Boy himself was generous enough to allow me to play. Thank you, Apple Boy. It is an absolute privilege to be able to play this game early, and you have officially saved Christmas. Eventually, you will get to play the full version when it drops, so consider this sort of a preview type deal. In the meantime, however, I recommend playing the first Apple Boy game. That way you'll be up to speed on the story so far, and you might have a better grasp of some of the mechanics. That, and it's also a pretty good game. I did a review of it during last year's Christmas marathon, so that'll get you up to speed if you're wondering what the hell this is all about. Apple Boy 2 follows Apple Boy, who has woken up in a strange place. He has to find a bunch of magical gems so that he can warp his way back to Fruit Bowl City, where he's from. And just so we're clear, we're not talking about Chaos Emeralds, although Sonic is in the game. Although Apple Boy 2 is not a super story-driven game, the dialogue is a distinctive element because Super Mario World ROM hacks don't tend to have a lot of it, much like the base game. The dialogue is also more entertaining than expository, which is a good fit for Super Mario World. There are a lot of references to the previous game, which again, you should play. And if you did play it, which you should have, you will notice pretty quickly that Apple Boy 2 is a substantial step up. Just like the original, you have the cape at all times, and you can wall jump, and you have the exploding apple projectiles that just demolish everyone in a 5-foot radius. This thing is unstoppable. This stuff fundamentally expands what can be done with the level design in Super Mario World, which means the game has a lot more to work with from the standpoint of new challenges and ideas. Except now you have this kick move that lets you slam through bricks like Wario. This never gets old. It's like, GAW! Super Mario World has a great foundation for all kinds of new stuff, and Apple Boy 2 builds on it very effectively, repurposing most of the platforming set pieces in new and interesting ways. The levels in this game are remarkable in their variety, and there are a number of one-off levels that look and feel completely unlike everything else in the game. There's a level where you're walking around in a school notebook, and whoever owns this notebook should probably be studying. I wonder if it's the same notebook from the Deadpool hack. There's a level where it turns into an old school Game Boy game and the screen is all tiny and shrunken. You can even go to the Windows 98 dimension. I've spent more than my fair share of time at this place, although it was in a virtual machine that I was using to get Mario Teaches Typing 2 to run for the 5th episode of reviewing every Mario game. All of this stuff was a lot of fun, but nothing could have prepared me for this level. I heard E1M1 from Doom starting up, I see a shotgun floating in the air, and I'm like, nah, there's no way. There's no way. There's a way. It's Apple Boy with a gun. This is the exact moment I was like, aw yeah, this is happening. There was a platform that I was having trouble reaching and I thought, wait a minute. There's no way I'm supposed to rocket jump like in an actual FPS. Guess what? There's a way. Every single world has at least one secret exit where you go through it and find yourself at a bar where you can purchase upgrades and stuff. Except for this one part where it turns into a trippy dimension of washing machines and lava. You got a bunch of NPCs who all have something interesting to say, and you might recognize some of them if you played the first Apple Boy title. Look at this, we got Sonic the Hedgehog, Peppino Spaghetti, and even Mario, who doesn't say shit, which I guess is consistent with his character. The only thing that sucks about being the first one to play a game like this is I can't look up a walkthrough to find all the secret exits. I gotta do it the old-fashioned way by actually trying. Thankfully, finding the secret exits was not extremely obtuse, but on that note, difficulty. Now, difficulty is kind of an interesting topic with this game, even though you have intimidating platforming sections full of buzzsaws and flamethrowers and all that. This is one of the few Super Mario World ROM hacks that lets you take more than 1 or 2 hits of damage. It's one thing to have a bunch of dickheads and hazards all over the place, but it's a whole other can of Stromboli when they kill you in 1 or 2 hits. Apple Boy 2 gives you a maximum of 4 hits before killing you, and also lets you store an item which gives you some health back. And the game is also relatively generous with health items. Look, you even get it all back when you hit a checkpoint. I think due to these factors, I'd say the difficulty is pretty manageable, except for this one boss that made me want to punch a stone wall until my hand fell off, and this level with all the vines near the end. It's too much, man! Scale it back! I actually found it more fun with the bigger health bar because it gave me the confidence to run through like a crazy person, which ironically makes me look better at the game than I actually am. Graphically, the game's art direction is distinct, and the levels have their own unique enemy designs, like this pirate level featuring Kremlings and Captain Blubber from Banco Kablooey. I often find myself impressed with how versatile Super Mario World is from a visual standpoint. ROM hackers have been able to bring it in all kinds of new directions. But even better than the visuals is the music. There are tons of musical nods to other games, which is not uncommon, except there are a number of tracks in the game that I don't think I've heard in any other Mario World hack before. Some of them sound almost identical to their original versions, but there are others that sound more like fun remixes in the Mario World sound font, which are my favorite ones. Apple Boy 2 is a very unique and memorable Super Mario World ROM hack. It's mechanically robust, while also having a huge variety of level designs that cannot be taken for granted. And when you combine that with funny dialogue and a great soundtrack, of course I recommend this one, once it actually comes out. I do not have an exact ETA on that, so in the meantime, I recommend you play the first game, if for no other reason than to get you up to speed, although I did enjoy that one too. And with all of that said, I will leave you with a message from Apple Boy himself, as I did for my video on the first game. Here's what he wrote. Hello again, Phantom Bane viewers. I hope that Apple Boy 2 lives up to the first game. Now, like last time, I have another Apple Boy game planned. In fact, I have 3 separate games planned. A proper Apple Boy 3, something I like to call Apple Boy CD, and a semi-prequel starring our good friend Andromeda. I want to make them all, I really do. But my ADHD may prevent a lot of work from getting done on any of these in a timely manner at least. Either way, thank you for watching this video, and please enjoy Apple Boy 2 Homeland Hero when it releases. Thank you for your kind words, Apple Boy, and thank you again for letting me play the game early. That is, again, legitimately a privilege. And thank you, the viewer, for watching. And don't forget to drop in tomorrow, because it's bigger, faster, and stronger too. Merry Christmas, everyone!